Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate cheesecake layer cake. It has layers of chocolate cake, chocolate cheesecake, and plain cheesecake, and it's frosted with my best ever chocolate frosting. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe for new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. So let's get started. First, we'll make the cheesecake layers. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees. Lightly grease two 9-inch round cake pans. Line each pan with a circle of parchment paper. And set them aside for now. Heat the dark chocolate until it's melted. If you're melting it in the microwave, stir it well every 15 to 30 seconds to make sure it's heating evenly. Then once it's all melted, set it aside to cool. Then into a large bowl, add in the softened cream cheese and beat it with an electric mixer until it's smooth. Then add in the sugar and vanilla extract and beat them in until they're well combined. Then in a separate medium bowl, add in the eggs that are at room temperature and beat them with an electric mixer until they're light and well beaten, but don't whip a lot of air into them. Add the beaten eggs into the cream cheese mixture a little at a time, mixing well after each addition. Then mix it by hand to combine all the ingredients. Add 2 cups of the batter into a separate bowl. And add in the melted dark chocolate from earlier. And mix it until it's combined. Pour the batters into each of the prepared cake pans. Shake and tap each pan a few times to level it out and to get rid of big air bubbles. Then place them onto a large sheet pan. I'm using a 2/3 sheet pan, which is bigger than a lot of sheet pans most people have. If you don't have a sheet pan this big, you will have to bake each cheesecake layer on separate sheet pans. Then place them into the oven and pour enough hot water into the sheet pan until it comes about halfway up the sides. This helps the cheesecake to not crack. And bake them for about 35 to 45 minutes until they're completely set and not very jiggly in the center. If you're baking each cheesecake on 2 separate oven racks, you'll need to switch oven racks halfway through so they bake evenly. When they're done, carefully remove them from the oven and transfer them to a cooling rack and let them cool completely. Once they're completely cooled, wrap them in plastic wrap and refrigerate them for at least 4 hours or overnight. To make the chocolate cake layers, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. For this cake, you will need 3 9-inch cake pans. If you need to use the pans that the cheesecakes are in, you can remove them from the pan to use it. If you're having trouble removing it from the pan, I'll show a way to remove it later in the video. Then just place the cheesecake onto a sheet pan, wrap it in plastic wrap, and place it back into the fridge. Then wash and dry the pan. Lightly grease the pans. Line them with a circle of parchment paper. and set them aside for now. Then to make the cake, in a large bowl, add in the sugar, flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, baking soda, and salt, and whisk them until they're well combined. Then add in the eggs, milk, canola or vegetable oil, and vanilla extract, and whisk them until they're combined. Try not to overmix the batter. Then add in the very hot or boiling water, and mix it in until it's combined. Pour the batter evenly into the prepared pans. Shake and tap each pan to level them out and to get rid of air bubbles. And bake them in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. If you're baking them on 2 separate oven racks, then halfway through the baking time, rotate the pans and switch oven racks so they bake evenly. When they're done, remove them from the oven and let them cool completely. While they're cooling, you can make the chocolate frosting. This is my best ever chocolate buttercream frosting, and I showed how to make this in a previous video, and I'll link to it in the description box. Once the cakes are completely cooled, run a butter knife around the edges to loosen them from the pan. Turn it out of the pan. Remove the parchment paper from underneath. Then trim the top so it's flat. And do that for the rest of the cake layers. Then to assemble the cake, spread a little frosting onto the cake board. Add the first cake layer, making sure it's centered. Spread a thin layer of frosting onto it. Remove one of the cheesecake layers from the fridge. Use the parchment paper underneath to help move it more easily, and place it upside down on top of the cake, and remove the parchment paper from underneath. Trim off any cheesecake that's hanging out from over the cake layer under it. Spread a thin layer of frosting on top of it. Add the next cake layer. Add a thin layer of frosting. Remove the second cheesecake from the fridge. To remove it from the pan, first run a butter knife around the edges to loosen it. Trim off some of the cheesecake from the edge. Then use tongs to grab the parchment paper from underneath and lift it out of the pan. Then place the cheesecake upside down on top of the cake and remove the parchment paper. Spread a thin layer of frosting on top of it. Then add the last cake layer on the top. Then cover the whole cake in a thin layer of frosting. This is the crumb coat, which will stop any crumbs from showing on the outside of the cake. Don't worry about how it looks at this point. Then place the cake into the fridge for 30 minutes or the freezer for 10 minutes until the frosting is set and no longer sticky. Remove it from the fridge. Then cover the cake in another layer of frosting, smoothing it out as best as you can. To make clean cuts when you serve it, dip a sharp knife into some hot water, dry it off with a paper towel, and cut out a slice. Dip the knife back into the hot water and dry it off after each cut. And that's how to make a chocolate cheesecake layer cake. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give this video a like and check out my channel for many more videos and subscribe to my channel for more to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.